Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I am Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Jay Huseman, and we are here for the Michigan preview for the ARCA Menards series. They are back in action this weekend, Jay, and looking forward to some fun things happening in the ARCA Menards series. The points are really tight.
It is, and I know you talked about a penalty that affected it a little bit, but it's still a very tight points battle. They're running with the big boys, if you will, because they're running at the same track, and it's a big track. It's not the biggest, but Michigan, a 2.0 mile track. So really looking forward to this weekend with the ARCA Menards series at Michigan.
Yes, indeed. It's the Henry Ford Health 200 at Michigan International Speedway in Brooklyn, Michigan. They'll be racing on Friday, June the 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. TV and radio coverage will be available on Fox Sports 2. That's Fox Sports 2. That's bears repeating. And that will be live. MRN radio as well as Sirius XM radio will carry live coverage as well. So some interesting storylines going into this race.
It is, and we start with the points. As I mentioned, LeVar Scott, the number 6 Max Siegel Incorporated Chevrolet, leads the ARCA Menards Series Championship standings going into the 6th round of the 2025 season, the Henry Ford Health 200 at Michigan International Speedway. Now, Scott has traded that championship lead with Brendan Queen of the number 28 BRC Chevrolet in each race since the second race of the season at Phoenix. I didn't realize it had been a straight back and forth, but it's been tight amongst the top 5.
It has been. Scott is still in search of his first career series victory, however, while Queen has 2 wins so far this season. In the season opener at Daytona International Speedway, and then again, he won at Kansas Speedway. Scott finished 15th last year in his only previous series start at Michigan, while Queen will be making his first attempt. Both drivers are driving for teams that have experienced success at Michigan. Rev Racing won at Michigan in 2022 with Nick Sanchez, while Pinnacle Racing Group won at Michigan last year with Connor Zillage. So we'll see which team is going to come out on top this year.
Well, also in the mix, and we'll talk about where he's at and tied in points, but Lawless Allen, the number 20 Auto Charge It Toyota, he'll be making his first career start in any series at Michigan International Speedway. Now, Allen has 77 career starts in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, but none have come in the Irish Hills as the trucks haven't raced in Michigan since 2020. And we'll talk about that when we talk about the Truck Series. Mm-hmm. Now, Allen won earlier this season at Talladega Super Speedway and is just that 4 points out of the championship lead, as again, he's tied with Queen for second.
And Andy Jakowiak, he drives that number 73 Acacia Energy Dax Markets Toyota. He's 4th in the series standings headed into Michigan, where he scored a career best 4th place finish in 2023. Now, Jakowiak qualified 5th at Michigan last year and was running near the front before mechanical problems cut his day short. 17 laps from the finish. Huge disappointment for him, I'm sure.
Now we got 2 drivers that are going to be there from Mexico City, and we're not going there, not down to Mexico yet, but drivers from Mexico City. You got Eloy Falcon, the number 2 Max Siegel Incorporated Chevrolet, and Regina Servent in the number 68 Por Armar a Pueblo Ford. Be making their ARCA Menards Series debut at Michigan International Speedway. Falcon will be a teammate to series points leader LeVar Scott at Rev Racing, while Servent is driving for the number 9-time ARCA Menards Series championship winning crew chief, Bill Kimmel.
Now, Tyler Reif in the number 23 Vegas Fastener Sigma Performance Services Chevrolet is making his first start at a track longer than a mile in length on his 18th birthday. The first day he's eligible to do so. Reif won the combined ARCA Menards Series West race at Phoenix Raceway when he was just 15 back in 2023. And he drove to the West Series Owners Championship with 2 wins in 2024.
How about that? That played out nicely, so he can still run for the championship and not miss a race, and it's on his birthday.
Yes, it's pretty amazing.
Now, this is pretty interesting. We got 4 drivers from the state of Michigan as they are entered the series regular. Brad Smith, the number 48 Gary Speed Shop Ford, is from Shelby Township. He'll be joined by Sawyer native Matt Kemp in the number 9 ELHdetailing.com Toyota. We also got Grass Lakes Morgan Baird in the number 11 Founders Brewing Company Rave Associates Ford. And then Rockwood resident Jeffrey McZink in the number 65 Syncon Performance Flooring Parkway Services Toyota.
Well, that should make it very interesting, and I wish all of them the best. Now, Gio Ruggiero in the number 18 First Auto Group Toyota is going to be making his first start of the season and his first for Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, JGR won the race at Phoenix earlier this season with Brent Cruz driving and has dominated the ARCA Menards Series East competition, winning 3 races with 15-year-old Max Reeves and the race at Rockingham Speedway with Cruz at the wheel. So it's really been amazing what they've been doing within their organizations with these 2 drivers.
Now, when we look for the ARCA Menards Series races, there's been 43 previous of them at Michigan International Speedway. Previous winners include Joe Ruttman in 1980, as well as Billy Harvey in 1990. You got a 10-year jump there. Travie Leslie, Dave Mater III in 1991, as well as Stanley Smith. In 92, it was Bob Keselowski. Jeff Purvis dominated a stretch there, going from 93 to 95. Ron Barfield Jr. in 96. In 96, he also had Tim Steele, who won as well in 97 and 2000. Mark Thompson got one in 97. Frank Kimmel got a pair in 1998, 2005. David Keith in 1999. Kerry Earnhardt in 2001. Also in 2001, you got Blaze Alexander. Chad Blunt in 02. Casey Mears in 03. Reed Sorensen in 04. In 05, it was Stephen Wallace. David Stremme in 06. And Brent Sherman in 2006 as well. Then 2007, it was Eric Darnell. Justin Lofton in 2008. 09 was Parker Kligerman. Mikey Kyle in 2010, as well as Ty Dillon. Then it was Chris Buescher in 2012. 13 was Brendan Poole. Austin Terrio in 2014. Ross Kenseth in 2015. Brandon Jones in
his name.
Yeah. Brandon Jones in 2016 and 17. Sheldon Creed in 2018. Michael Self in 19. Entering the 20s, it's 2020 was Riley Herbst. 21 was Ty Gibbs. Mentioned Nick Sanchez in 2022. And then Jesse Love in 2023, followed by Connor Zilich in 2024.
Wow.
Some names we haven't heard in a while. Some names we're hearing more at the cup level now or coming into it. So
pretty interesting. All right, now the ARCA Menards Series track qualifying record at Michigan International Speedway sits at 37.296 seconds. That represents about 193.050 miles per hour. And that was set by Michael Self in 2019. I remember that.
Well, and he also set the track race record that same year for the ARCA Menards Series. It was 165.365 miles per hour in 2019. That race was the second fastest race in ARCA Menards Series history, only behind the 2020 Talladega race, which was won by Drew Dollar at 169.962 miles per hour.
Wow. Now, just as a reminder, the Henry Ford Health 200 is going to be televised live. Again, be sure to note this. It will be on Fox Sports 2. So, Fox Sports 2 this week for that race, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern on Friday, June the 6th. It will be broadcast on select affiliates of the MRN radio network nationwide and carried live on SiriusXM NASCAR radio channel 90. Live timing and scoring data is available on arcaracing.com. And for up-to-the-minute updates, please follow at ARCA_racing on X, formerly known as Twitter. Some interesting stats there, but we've got some drivers to keep an eye on this week, too.
Well, if there's only one thing LeVar Scott has figured out in his second full season of ARCA Menards Series competition, it is consistency. Scott, who enters Friday's Henry Ford Health 200 as the ARCA Menards Series championship points leader, he's easily been the most consistent driver in the ARCA garage through 5 races of 2025. His 4 top 5s and 5 top 10s are better than any other driver who has contested every race this season. And his 4.6 average finish is nearly a full 3 positions better than the next driver.
That's pretty impressive. However, what Scott continues to lack on his ARCA Menards Series resume is the victory. The driver of the number 6 Chevrolet for Rev Racing is attempting to cross a win off his wish list this Friday, but he'll face ample challenges from a number of competitors for you to keep your eyes on. Chief among them is Brendan Butterbean Queen, who already has 2 ARCA wins this season at Daytona International Speedway and Kansas Speedway. The pilot of PRG, Pinnacle Racing Group's number 28 Chevrolet, had a rough race in his most recent outing at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and so he's looking for a rebound and possibly a win at Michigan this weekend.
You also got to watch Joe Gibbs Racing, which has one win so far this season in the ARCA Menards Series. That was with driver Brent Cruz. But they're going to have Gio Ruggiero in the number 18 Toyota for his first start of the 2025 campaign. Now, Ruggiero, who has 1 E-Series win to his credit, is in the midst of his first full-time Craftsman Truck Series season with Tricon Garage. But he's back in the ARCA Menards Series this weekend.
Yes, indeed. Venturini Motorsports is always the team to watch. They are bringing 3 entries to Michigan with full-timers Lawless Allen, Isabella Robusto, and they will be joined by Jake Finch. Tyler Reif will make his first Speedway start in the number 23 for Sigma Performance Services, and Andy Jakowiak continues his impressive start to the season aboard the number 73 for Class Motorsports.
Now, I mentioned the 2 drivers, both from Mexico City, making their ARCA Menards Series debut at Friday at Michigan. First, as Rev Racing's Eloy Falcon, who scored an impressive 3rd-place finish in his ARCA Menards Series East debut at Rockingham Speedway earlier this season. And the other is Regina Servent, who is scheduled to make the first of a handful of starts driving for Kimmel Racing in the number 68 Ford. So looking forward to that. We always love that international flair.
Yes, indeed. Other notable entries that you'll want to keep an eye on are Thad Moffitt, Caleb Costner, Ryan Roulet, Jason Kitzmiller, Brayton Laster, among others. And we do have a full entry list. Have you had a chance to count that down, Jay?
Well, there you go. Between 27 and 29. Actually, it is one or the other because I know they're odd numbered there by the blue and white colors on them.
Yes.
The one thing that surprised me here, Gio Ruggiero coming back to the ARCA Menards Series, the only top driver from the top 3. I thought, Michigan, I know is high risk, high speed. But I thought we might see a couple other drivers from the top series coming back. We've seen Grant Enfinger, Brandon Jones, maybe. A little surprised not to see at least 1 or 2 more here on the entry list this weekend.
Yeah, I kind of am too, considering that they're all racing at the same location. It's not like they have to go across the country in order to participate in both events. So, yeah, we've seen it happen in the past, but it doesn't happen very often that nobody ticks that off their list.
But it'll make for a good race. And we were talking about the point standings, the top five especially. Jason Kitzmiller at minus 45, a little on the outside edge. But LeVar Scott, and I don't know if this is updated with the penalty we were talking about, but as
Yeah.
it's posted, LeVar Scott has a 4-point lead over Brendan Queen and Lawless Allen, who are tied. Andy Jakowiak is only 8 points back. Then mentioned Jason Kitzmiller in fifth at minus 45. Thad Moffitt, sixth at minus 53. Then you got a big jump down to Alex Clubb, who's at minus 73. William Sawalich in eighth has only got 4 races in. Isabella Robusto in ninth, and 10th of Michael Maples. So be an interest. Oh, Patrick Starpoli is going to drop a little bit more because he wasn't on the entry list this weekend. Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
many things go into which races these drivers make, sponsors, other team commitments. Like I said, I don't know if they consider Michigan maybe a more high risk than some others. I don't know.
It's possible, but and maybe its availability too, and sponsorship determines who goes in that car. But you mentioned the penalty, and I want to kind of go over that with everybody. There was a penalty statement after the race at Charlotte Motor Speedway based on post-race technical inspection at the General Tire 150, the ARCA Menards Series race at Charlotte Motor Speedway on May 23rd. Crew Chief Glenn Parker of the Red Racing number 6 has been fined $1,500 and placed on probation for the remainder of the 2025 season. And the driver, LeVar Scott, and the owner, Max Siegel, have been penalized with the loss of 6 championship points in the ARCA Menards series, in addition to applicable special award points. So the infraction actually was for the section 20C-12.8.1 body height, which references minimum and maximum roof height for their car. They were not within the tolerances for that, and so they were penalized, as we just indicated, for that team. So never a good thing when we're seeing this at the ARCA Menards Series 11.
You know, and what's really bad is we
level
talked
for
about
that.
that. Exactly. We feel like we've seen more of that at NASCAR's top 3 levels. And yeah, if it's happening down here, and I'm trying to remember, like I said, whether or not LeVar had a 10-point lead, because if you add 6 into what he has now, that
Right.
might have been, because he did have a solid week at Charlotte, but we'll have to wait and see, let that sort itself out.
Yes, it's pretty interesting to see how that looks. Now, there are some great articles. There is a Dream Come True article about ARCA Menards Series driver Regina Servant. She's having her debut this weekend, Friday night at Michigan, again at 5 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 2. And they have a nice feature about her over at ARCA Menards Series, ARCARacing.com. And according to the site, you can still get tickets for general admission and camping options at Michigan this weekend. And I don't know about you, Jay, but I hear all kinds of great things about Michigan International Speedway all the time. People that go there want to keep going back every year. They just love that track.
It was, and I think it was back in 2008, maybe 2010, somewhere in there is when my family, again, it was out of closeness as I was home in Minnesota and we drove over to Michigan. Beautiful trip. Enjoyed the time we were over there. And you're right, the track and facility, everything there was top notch for sure.
Yes, and it's a very fast track. We've talked about that before, even with NASCAR's Top Series. It's not as huge as Talladega or Daytona, but they put on some pretty good racing, and they do have some drafting that takes place at that track, but not the same kind of drafting that you see at Daytona or Talladega either.
Yeah, I was going to say it definitely does. I mean, we know it does even at the mile and the half miles to a smaller degree. So you do have that at Michigan. Again, it's not considered the super speedway, if you will, of larger than 2 miles, but very high speed. I know they come close to, I believe, the 200 mile. Would we say it was 193 was the track qualifying record. So they're getting up there, and especially for these ARCA Menards Series drivers, because that is one of the biggest tracks they run on.
It is indeed. And for a lot of those drivers, and I think we mentioned some of them in our preview, this will be the first time that they've driven on a track that is this big. They normally race on short tracks on their way through, their local short tracks, or even through the ARCA Menards series.
All right. I think we covered pretty much everything we can give you other than to tune in and watch the ARCA Menards Series Friday night there at Michigan. And again, it'll be a great lead into the rest of the weekend.
It will be. And we're going to be talking about those other races that will be taking place at Michigan International Speedway. Coming up, we'll be doing the preview for the Truck Series as well as the Cup Series. Both of those series are racing. The Xfinity Series is taking the weekend off. So only 3 races this weekend, Jay.
Yeah, I know. Looking at the ARCA Menards Series West, their next race will be in June 14th at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. So we'll preview that next week. And then the East Series, we're going to have to wait a month for them. They'll be back, but it's going to be a little while. July 18th.
Next week, we'll be talking about the ARCA West race, Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. But this weekend, it's all about Michigan. All right. So do watch for more coming after the races on Monday. Jay, Sal, and myself will be sitting down to do the reviews of those races. And then later on Monday night, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, we'll have our Hot Topic Sound Off segment. And Jay, I suspect we'll have a few things to talk about again.
Most certainly. There is no suspect there. We already got a couple of them. I don't want to get into any legal issues, but no.
Oh, yeah. We want to avoid that. But we do want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, because we really do appreciate you taking the time to hear what we have to say. We have seen a little bit of uptick, Jay. I noticed the subscriber count jumped up another 2 people today. So we continue to grow on subscribers.
Well, we do appreciate it. As Sharon said, we enjoy doing it. We hope you are entertained by it and getting some information from it, as well as some opinions that we may have or share, especially come Monday night. We share them with authority.
Yes, we do our very best. So just really tickled to see the growth happening. And we hope to continue to grow as this season continues to progress, because it's just going to get more and more exciting as the season goes along, Jay.
Most certainly. And I know some of that pertains to what's coming up in the Cup Series, and we'll get to that. But first, we got to hit the Truck Series.
Exactly. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.